From ripping off Inception, trashing Doctor Who, and turning Jurassic Park into a joke about Jerry's divorce of all things, no movie or TV show is safe from Rick and Morty's claws. So, quickly let's break down every movie, TV show reference in Rick and Morty Season 1, because Rick sure as hell won't explain it. We start at the beginning, because if there's one thing Rick and Morty loves, it's ripping apart the beginning of something else.
I got a surprise for you,
It's the middle of the night. What are you talking
Come on,
about?
I got a surprise for you.
Really, Rick? What kind of surprise is that? The show's very first episode isn't just an introduction to Rick's alcoholic nihilism and Morty's perpetual suffering, it's a full-blown homage, or let's be real, a mashup of pop culture references, with Back to the Future leading the charge.
Crazy drunk driver.
It's more like a love letter to the blockbuster, mixed with a few other surprises.
I had to make a bomb, Morty. I had to create a bomb.
What? A bomb?
We're gonna drop it down there and get a whole fresh start.
From the very first episode, they make it clear that this isn't just another animated show. The show's DNA is Back to the Future, but with the serial numbers filed off and replaced with swear words.
If God exists, it's fucking me!
A mad scientist dragging a reluctant teenager through insane, universe-breaking adventures? Check. A flying vehicle that defies physics? Check. And the questionable parenting? And double check on that one. The moment when you realize nothing makes sense, that's where the similarities end and the madness begins.
Holy crap, Morty, run! Morty, run! I never...
With all that alcohol in his system, one would think Rick should be braver. It would interest you to note that Rick and Morty are heavily influenced by characters Dr. Emmett Brown and Marty McFly. But where Back to the Future had charm and a functioning moral compass, Rick and Morty has Rick belching mid-monologue and Morty shoving interdimensional contraband up his ass.
Oh, jeez, Rick. I really don't want to have to do that.
That one must have been really painful. During the interdimensional customs scene, if you look closely, you can spot two familiar silhouettes lurking in the background. Mystery Science Theater's 3000's Tom Servo and Crow T Robot, looking about as lost as you'd expect robot puppets to be in a bureaucratic alien nightmare. There's no explanation, no punchline, just these two iconic figures from a 90s cult show suddenly existing in the Rick and Morty universe because why the hell not? And because one obscure reference wasn't enough, the same scene casually tosses in a Space Invaders alien in the corner, like the writers were just trying to throw in every reference they could get their hands on, hoping one would bang. Well, these toss-ins aren't all that necessary, so they're probably just inside jokes tossed into the background for the handful of viewers who might catch them. It has also become a classic Rick and Morty thing. Throw 100 random things in the background, hide a cult favorite reference in plain sight, and never acknowledge it again.
You can enter people's dreams, Morty. It's just like that movie that you keep crowing about.
You talking about Inception?
That's right, Morty.
The episode's structure even mirrors Back to the Future's opening act, but with all the warmth and hope surgically removed. Instead of Marty nervously navigating 1955, we get Morty desperately trying not to think about what's currently residing in his rectum. Instead of Doc Brown's wide-eyed scientific curiosity, we get Rick's drunken nihilism. And the neutrino bomb test, that's Rick's version of Doc's 1.21 gigawatts.
21 gigawatts!
Experiment, except with more existential threats. As for the real adventures of Doc and Mahati, that's the dirty little origin story the show doesn't like to talk about much. Before Rick and Morty was a phenomenon, it was a vulgar Back to the Future parody that creator Justin Roiland made for Channel 101.
Oh, man. My kite's in the tree, Doc. I hate this stupid tree.
The less said about that early version, the better, though you can still find it somewhere in the darker corners of the internet if you're brave or foolish enough to look. But if you thought making fun of Back to the Future with Rick's junk flying car was hilarious, wait until you see what they did to Freddy Krueger. Let's say the Rick and Morty pilot was a love letter to Back to the Future. Then the episode Lawnmower Dog is the show drunkenly scribbling notes to half a dozen different movies and books before passing out on the couch. This episode doesn't just reference pop culture, it grabs entire plots by the collar, shakes them violently, and lets the pieces fall where they may. The episode's title and core premise comes straight from The Lawnmower Man, both the 1992 movie and Stephen King's original short story. But where the original featured a dim-witted gardener gaining godlike intelligence through virtual reality, Rick and Morty say screw that and gives the treatment to Morty's dog Snuffles. The result? A golden retriever who goes from peeing on carpets...
Are you kidding me? Come on!
...to building robot exoskeletons and leading a canine revolution after a simple request from Jerry.
You wouldn't by any chance have some sort of crazy science thing you could whip up that might help make this dog a little smarter?
If only he knew what was about to happen. Rick's special intelligence helmet works a little too well, transforming Snuffles from a simple family pet into Snowball, a name that's anything but accidental.
Go to the bathroom.
No way.
Gotta admit, that's kinda cool. That brings us to the classic novel, Animal Farm. George Orwell probably never imagined his allegorical masterpiece being adapted into a story about a dog uprising, but here we are. Like we earlier said, Rick and Morty likes to rip things apart, and some allegories are more equal than others. Snowball's arc mirrors Animal Farm beat for beat. The initial rebellion against oppression, in this case dogs versus humans replacing pigs versus farmers. The idealistic renaming, with Snowball directly lifted from Orwell's revolutionary pig, and the eventual realization that power corrupts, regardless of species.
We will go to a new world and colonize it with a society of intelligent dogs.
The genius here is how the show takes Orwell's serious political commentary and filters it through the lens of a house pet's existential crisis. One minute Snowball's giving impassioned speeches about canine liberation, the next he's having an emotional breakdown when faced with Morty's kidney failure.
To hell with my kingdom, bean counter. I would trade it all for my human's health and happiness.
It's Animal Farm, if Napoleon the pig kept stopping to sniff his own butt.
The revolution is now complete.
While Snowball's plotting world domination, Rick and Morty are busy turning Christopher Nolan's Inception into a vehicle for dick jokes and 9/11 gags. The dream within a dream concept gets the Rick and Morty treatment.
You can enter people's dreams, Morty. It's just like that movie that you keep crowing about.
You talking about Inception?
Only, instead of corporate espionage, they're trying to inflate Morty's maths grade.
We're gonna take control of this plane. We're gonna 9/11 it unless Morty Smith gets better grades in math.
The kick is replaced with the threat of actual death, and the dreamscapes include an Islamic terrorism gag, an intergalactic BDSM club, and Summer as a dominatrix.
Whoa! Summer!
And just when you thought it can't get any crazier, in walks Scary Terry, the show's legally safe knockoff of Freddy Krueger.
Welcome to your nightmare, bitch.
Terry manages to be both terrifying and pathetic, chasing our heroes through dreams while crying about being a failure.
Get off my back, bitch.
Out there.
It's a Nightmare on Elm Street if Freddy needed therapy and a hug or two. Lurking beneath all of this is a nod to Planet of the Apes, complete with an oppressed underclass rising up against their masters, advanced technology granting superiority, and Jerry's pathetic attempt to fight back by marking territory like a dog.
See that? I'm peeing all over your special guns.
At least Morty didn't lose his testicles. Could have been a lot worse, if you ask me. The episode even ends with the dogs establishing their own society separate from humans, a direct parallel to the apes creating their own civilization. Though one suspects Charlton Heston never had to deal with intelligent dogs making him fetch sticks.
You will walk when it is time to walk.
Let's move to Rick and Morty's version of Jurassic Park.
Welcome, Morty. Welcome to Anatomy Park.
If Jurassic Park taught us anything at all, it's that stuffing dangerous creatures into a theme park is a terrible idea.
No.
Rick and Morty, however, takes that lesson, shrinks it down, and injects it directly into a homeless man's bloodstream. Anatomy Park isn't just a parody, it's a full-blown microbial disaster wrapped in Christmas lights and family dysfunction.
You did it again, Cubby.
The episode's title and logo are a direct riff on Jurassic Park, replacing prehistoric reptiles with deadly diseases.
Tuberculosis coming in fast!
Not faster than a bullet! Ah!
But instead of a tropical island, we get Reuben the homeless man's body, a biohazardous wonderland where tuberculosis is the T-Rex and gonorrhea is the Velociraptor. The parallels are hilariously blatant. The park's grand vision is reminiscent of John Hammond's dream of a dinosaur paradise.
This place I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion.
So, Dr. Xenon Bloom envisions Anatomy Park as a revolutionary attraction. Instead of spared no expense, we get shoved inside a hobo. Containment failure is also a theme, as the diseases escape their exhibits, because apparently no one thought gonorrhea needed better security.
Don't move. Gonorrhea can't see us if we don't move. Wait, I was wrong. I was thinking of a T-Rex.
Meanwhile, the premise of shrinking people to explore a human body is straight out of 1966's Fantastic Voyage. But Rick and Morty cranks the absurdity to a whole new level. Instead of a high-stakes Cold War mission, Morty's just trying to save Rick's failed science project.
I'm sitting here trying to save the guy's life.
Morty's got his hands full, though. Well, the body they're exploring isn't a diplomat or a scientist. It's a random homeless guy Rick found.
I check in on him once a year and give him a little medical evaluation.
Speak of priorities. The lungs are depicted as a collapsing, mucus-filled nightmare, rather than a serene underwater landscape. The heart is not a majestic pump, but a failing ride called Pirates of the Pancreas, which admittedly sounds like a real Disney attraction.
Pirates of the Pancreas?
You got a problem with that last one, Morty?
Huh?
The escape scene is also a twist on Fantastic Voyage, as Morty and Annie flee on a train operated by sentient E. coli. While Morty's fighting syphilis in a homeless man's liver, Jerry's dealing with his own horror show.
Sounds like you're about to say Jacob is your lover.
No. Jacob is your mother's lover.
The episode cuts between the chaos of Anatomy Park and Jerry's trauma, creating a perfect balance of sci-fi absurdity and familial cringe. Anatomy Park succeeds because it doesn't just name-drop Jurassic Park and Fantastic Voyage, it digests them. The episode takes the core premise of both films, filters them through Rick's science is a bad idea philosophy, and adds a layer of body horror and family dysfunction. The result is something that feels fresh despite being built on familiar foundations. That's not even all. In a post-credits scene, Rick tries to reboot Anatomy Park inside Ethan's body, only to get roasted by the new staff.
What does a pancreas do? And the answer was, does it make pirates? No, it makes insulin. You know? So we're starting with a new...
Perfection. From the Jurassic Park parody, we switch our attention to Rick and Morty's own version of an alien invasion. Let's get one thing straight. If Christopher Nolan ever watched this episode, he'd either demand royalties or file a restraining order. M. Night Shyamalan-aliens takes Inception's dream within a dream concept, strips out all the pretentious philosophical baggage, and replaces it with Rick belching mid-monologue while aliens scream in frustration.
How did this happen? Where's the abductions department?
In this episode, a race of aliens, the Zigarians, which is really just a race of scam artists with all the intimidation of a load of pissed-off baristas that think they're so clever, trapping Rick in layered simulations hoping to steal his dark matter formula.
Sir, the doctor's appointment to examine the discoloration on your butthole flaps was...
Too loud, Cynthia. Too loud and too specific.
That's way too loud. What the Zigarians don't realize is that Rick's mind is less like a vault and more like a garbage compactor filled with expired vodka and bad decisions.
Can't let you do that, Morty.
Give it to me!
No! You! Give it to me!
Give it! Come on.
The Inception parallels are undeniable, but deliberately ridiculous. Where DiCaprio's Cobb navigates dreams with military precision, Rick treats each simulation layer like a bad arcade game he's cheating at.
Take a shower with me, Morty. What?
The aliens keep upping the stakes, like, oh, you escaped the first simulation? Well, this is the real one! Only for Rick to yawn and break their code. Meanwhile, Jerry is blissfully unaware of the reality warping chaos around him, and keeps pitching his terrible Apple slogan like a middle-aged dad at a corporate retreat. It's the perfect joke. While Rick fights nested realities, Jerry's biggest concern is whether Apple's nature's fast food will land him a promotion.
Apples are food. And when do we need food? When we're hungry. With that, I give you your new slogan.
Really, Jerry? Is that the best you could come up with? And then there's the M. Night Shyamalan of it all. The episode's title is more than just a pun, it's a middle finger to twist endings. Shyamalan built his career on gotcha moments, but Rick and Morty one-ups him by making the entire plot a Russian doll of fake-outs.
You're inside a simulation of a simulation inside another giant simulation.
Eventually, Rick outsmarts the aliens, and we discover that he was playing them the whole time, with the subtlety of a sledgehammer.
Whatever, quote-unquote, Morty.
The post-credits scene where we see a drunk Rick holding Morty at knife point to check if he's a simulation is the cherry on top. It's Shyamalan meets Black Mirror, meets a college dorm room at 3 a.m. Also, Jerry getting immediately fired for his awful slogan is the universe's way of saying stick to being a clueless, unserious character.
So, what do you think?
You're fired.
After 4 episodes of feeding off popular movies and TV shows, their writers probably thought to themselves, why don't we steal from a rock band this time around? And what better band than Metallica? The episode Meeseeks and Destroy is exactly what you would expect if Jack and the Beanstalk had been written by a nihilist with a vendetta against childhood innocence. The title is a direct reference to Metallica's 1983 hit song, Seek and Destroy. In this episode, Rick and Morty's adventure in a medieval fantasy world starts as a straightforward parody, complete with a towering beanstalk and a kingdom full of giants.
I smell the blood of...
Holy crap!
But it quickly evolves into a nightmare that will make the brothers Grimm blush. The setup is like a classic fairy tale. Poor villagers, a quest for treasure, a trial in a giant's court. But being Rick and Morty, the story takes a hard left into psychological horror when Morty encounters Mr. Jellybean in a tavern bathroom.
Okay, bye.
No, stay. Go with the flow.
Only Rick and Morty can turn Mr. Jellybean into a pedophile. The Jack and the Beanstalk references are there, but they're just set dressing for the episode's real thesis. Morty's desperate attempt to prove he can lead an adventure without Rick's cynicism ruining it.
The universe is a crazy, chaotic place.
You're the one that's crazy and chaotic. Adventures are supposed to be simple and fun.
Oh yeah, Morty.
Of course, Rick's right. The world is dark, unfair, and full of monsters, some of whom wear candy-colored crowns. By the time King Jellybean is revealed as a predator, and later a statue commemorating his crimes, the episode has twisted the fairy tale into something far more unsettling.
Our people will get more from the idea he represented than from the jellybean he actually was.
That's exactly how the world works, right? Meanwhile, back on Earth, the Meeseeks plotline takes a simple direction.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me!
Magic creatures who exist only to solve problems. Before they can turn it into a masterclass in escalating absurdity, Jerry's inability to shave 2 strokes off his golf game shouldn't evolve into a blue-skinned suicide cult. And yet here we are.
At this point, my golf swing is more your problem than mine.
I can't take it anymore! I just want to die!
The Meeseeks start out cheerful, then descend into madness, and finally decide murder is the only logical solution. It's like the monkey's paw meets corporate team-building exercises, with Beth stuck playing mediator between her incompetent husband and a gang of increasingly unhinged wish-granters. Ginny, eat your hearts out.
I've been trying to help Jerry for 2 days, an eternity in Meeseeks time, and nothing's worked.
The Meeseeks seek to fulfill their purpose, then destroy everything in their path when they can't. Rick and Morty seek adventure, only to destroy any illusion that heroism exists in their universe. Such a shame. Even the post-credits scene drives it home. The villagers would rather burn evidence of their king's crimes than confront the truth. Seeking justice? Nah. Destroying the problem? Much easier. My personal standout moment is the scene of the Meeseeks hostage negotiation at the restaurant, where they demand Jerry try his golf swing or their hostage gets it. It's the perfect blend of ridiculous and terrifying, a running theme for this episode.
What the fuck is going on?
Don't ask me. I have no idea. But what I do have an idea of is where they ripped off the title of the next episode, and all the ideas they twisted into almost unrecognizable forms. I don't think we need an episode from Rick and Morty to figure out that messing with love potions never ends well.
Could you make some sort of chemical thing happen inside of Jessica's mind? You know, so where she falls in love with me and all that sort of thing?
But then again, they love to teach unwarranted life lessons.
A real man stands by his woman.
What starts as Morty's desperate attempt to win over his crush Jessica
Hey, Jessica?
spirals into a full-blown apocalyptic nightmare, complete with grotesque body horror, shotgun-wielding Jerry, and a multiverse escape plan that involves burying your own corpse.
Now pick up your dead self and come on. Haste makes waste.
The episode is a mashup of the 1992 film Love Potion No. 9 with David Cronenberg's signature brand of biological horror, creating a story that's equal part romantic comedy and existential crisis. The episode's title and setup are a direct rip-off from Love Potion No. 9, where a love serum wreaks havoc on its users. Morty's potion doesn't just make Jessica fall for him.
Rip my clothes off and mate with me for life.
Instead, it mutates into an airborne virus that infects the entire planet, turning everyone into lovesick monsters who want to mate with him and then eat him.
I love him so much, I want to make love to him and then eat his head.
I love him more than you do, Harold.
You wish, you stupid bitch!
Cool, right? It's the worst possible outcome of teenage desperation, and Morty's horrified realization that he essentially tried to roofie Jessica adds a layer of uncomfortable self-awareness.
You're a little creep, Morty. You're just a little creep.
Rick's attempts to fix the situation only make things worse, because, of course, that always happens. His first antidote,
It's based on praying mantis DNA.
transforms humanity into insectoid abomination. His second serum, a Frankenstein mix of
Koala mixed with rattlesnake, chimpanzee, cactus, shark, golden retriever, and just a smidge of dinosaur.
turns everyone into fleshy, barely human blobs. By the time Rick gives up and declares the world unsalvageable, the damage is so extreme that the only solution is to abandon the entire timeline.
All right, Morty, here we are.
Oh my god, Rick! Is that us?
That should restore things back to normal. The mutated humans who Rick refers to as Cronenbergs
Boy, Morty, I really Cronenberg the world up, didn't I?
are a loving and disgusting tribute to David Cronenberg's filmography. The director's obsession with grotesque body transformations is perfectly replicated here, with people melting into fleshy monstrosities that look like they wandered out of a horror flick. The horror isn't just visual though, it's existential. Morty's horrified reaction to the world he helped destroy
Oh my god, it's a living nightmare! How could you be so irresponsible, Rick?
Me irresponsible?
is one of the show's first real moments of emotional weight,
Calm yourself, Morty. Morty, calm down, Morty.
underscored by the haunting Mazzy Star song that plays as he buries his own alternate reality corpse. Things like this only happen in Rick and Morty. The episode's most controversial twist is also its most brilliant. Rather than fix the world, Rick and Morty replaced themselves with versions from a timeline where the crisis was averted. It's a cheat, sure, but it's also the ultimate expression of Rick's philosophy.
There's an infinite number of realities, Morty, and in a few dozen of those, I got lucky and turned everything back to normal.
Why solve a problem when you can just run away from it? The chilling final shot of Morty staring blankly at his new school, traumatized by what he's done and what he's seen, is one of the show's most powerful moments. The Cronenberg world doesn't just disappear, however, it lingers. The post-credits scene reveals that Jerry, Beth, and Summer are the last normal humans left, with Summer casually reciting a monologue that references the 1975 Steven Spielberg movie, Jaws.
He doesn't seem to be living until he bites ya. And then the blood and the red...
Then, in a final twist, Cronenberg versions of Rick and Morty arrive from a dimension where they turned everyone normal.
Here we are, Cronenberg Morty. A reality where everyone in the world got genetically Cronenberged. We'll fit right in, Cronenberg Morty.
In the Rick and Morty universe, no matter how hard you try to escape, the mess always follows you. Moving on from Cronenberg's gore to something even more shocking. From the moment Morty walks out of that intergalactic pawn shop with a souvenir sex robot,
It'd be kind of cool, like a souvenir.
you know that the episode Raising Gazorpazorp is going to be a disaster. The kind of disaster that only Rick and Morty could turn into both a satire and one of the funniest half hours of television out there. What follows is a downward spiral through failed parenting, alien gender politics, and some of the most unexpected sci-fi references ever crammed into 22 minutes. Morty's impulsive decision to bring home Gwendolyn the sexbot immediately backfires when it gives birth to Morty Jr.,
All right, uh-oh.
Uh-oh? What is that?
a half-human, half-Gazorpazorpian hybrid with a serious aggression problem.
What about weapons? What about domination of the enemy?
The setup mirrors the movie Raising Arizona's chaotic child-rearing plot, but with a crucial twist.
Well, we can't all be raised like reptiles by a mentally ill scientist. What the hell?
Morty Jr. ages at an alarming rate, going from newborn to rebellious teen in a matter of hours.
You can masturbate?
I don't want to masturbate. I want to conquer the planet.
Glad time isn't that fast in reality. Morty, completely unprepared for fatherhood, tries to keep him indoors.
Air is poisonous for you. You will die you'll die instantly if you ever leave this house.
A desperate move that only fuels Morty Jr.'s rage. The kid smokes, demands weapons, and eventually storms out of the house.
My life has been a lie.
Meanwhile, Jerry and Beth's attempts to help are useless, resulting in passive-aggressive critiques of Morty's parenting skills.
You are going to ruin that kid, Morty.
At least we can agree on that.
As if they were any better. Their dynamic is a darkly funny reflection of their own dysfunctional marriage. They can't agree on how to raise their grandson, but they can agree that Morty is failing spectacularly. Talk about good parenting. While Morty struggles with his alien son, Rick and Summer travel to Gazorpazorp, a planet that feels like it was ripped off directly from the 1974 sci-fi movie Zaddos, featuring Sean Connery. The society is split into two extremes: the feral, violent males who live on the surface, and the hyper-intelligent, misandrist females who rule from a floating stone head, a direct nod to Zardoz' iconic imagery. The females reproduce by sending down sex robots, dressed like RoboCop because of course they are sex robots, down to the men. They collect genetic material, then raise only the female offspring. The males?
They get to play outside.
They're left to rot in their own primal chaos.
That was just a baby.
That's definitely child abuse, but yeah, that's Rick and Morty for you. When Rick and Summer arrive, they're immediately thrust into the planet's gender war.
Well, it really doesn't matter what you want, because this is a sane place where women rule.
Yeah, you know what I have to say about that?
Rick's casual misogyny gets them sentenced to death by crushing boulders, but Summer, ever the quick thinker, saves them by pointing out that her stylish top was designed by a male Earth fashion designer.
A certain percentage of our males are born gay, which is why my clothes are better than all of yours.
It's a brilliant moment that undercuts the episode's heavy-handed gender dichotomy. Even in a society that claims to hate men, they can't deny that some male contributions are, well, fabulous.
Jacob's. Mark. Jacob. These are names of the penis.
Yes! An Earth man made this top.
This episode, like others, is packed with a lot of sci-fi and pop culture references. The title is a reference to the TV sitcom Raising Hope, which focused on a teenager who raises a child of his own as a single father, while still living with his own parents, who are like Jerry and Beth, heavily critical of his parenting skills.
Why do we love to dance?
Because I said so!
Nice.
Nice.
The floating head, the red robes, the primitive males versus the advanced females, it's all Zardoz, just with more sex robots and fewer Sean Connery loincloths. The Gazorpazorpian sex bots wear helmets and visors that were ripped straight from the 1987 classic RoboCop. The female Gazorpazorpian guards are holding weapons similar to the Vulcan Lurper from Star Trek. To make it even more interesting, the female Gazorpians are voiced by Claudia Black and Virginia Hay, reuniting after their days of playing aliens in the classic TV series Farscape. Beneath all the chaos and never-ending references, there's a surprisingly great story about Morty trying,
Dada?
Destruction, domination.
Nice.
and failing to be a good dad.
Smith Jr.'s mind-bending novel, My Horrible Father, in every store and on everyone's mind. Pick it up. We'll be right back.
Well, at least he tried. If you found this entertaining, wait for the next episode, which I like to refer to as the TV show's Parody Carnival. There are episodes of Rick and Morty that push the boundaries of sci-fi storytelling. And then there's Ricksty Minutes, a surreal, existential, and hysterically random deep dive into the infinite possibilities of interdimensional cable.
With weapons made from tomatoes.
The episode title is a reference to the popular American news magazine and TV segment 60 Minutes. In Ricksty Minutes, Rick, who is disgusted by the quality of modern television,
None of it mattered and the entire show was stupid.
introduces the Smith family to cable programs and commercials showing other dimensions of the universe.
Here's another quick mystery.
My mother's dead. And I killed her. Here's the weapon, and cuff me, thank you very much.
I'll be honest with you, the quality wasn't much different. In some cases, it was just worse. One of the interdimensional fancy TV shows was titled Gazorpazorp, which is just a regular parody of Garfield. It's an alternate version of the cartoon voiced by Lorenzo Music's Ghost, the original Garfield who died in our world but still works in this one.
In this reality, he's still alive.
Oh, okay. Was his name Lorenzo Music?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
They couldn't just let him rest, of course. The show also features a cat-like alien drawn in the same style as the Garfield cartoon.
Hey, John. It's me, Gazorpazorp Field. Boy, fuck you, John, you fucking dumb, stupid idiot.
Language, boy, language. Next up is another TV series called Ball Fondlers.
I'm in heaven right now.
This might be the best day of my life.
Ball Fondlers is basically a mockery of the action flick A-Team. It really is just an episode of the A-Team if they care more about their balls than going up against villains. A jeep shown during the Ball Fondlers is exactly the same as that in the opening credits of the A-Team, so Rick and Morty weren't trying to be discreet about the reference, let's make no mistake about it. A cereal commercial shown on the cable service weaponizes childhood nostalgia.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Jesus Christ!
The commercial starred a leprechaun with rabbit ears resembling a hybrid of the Lucky Charms and Trix mascots that have featured in countless TV commercials. Another show on this interdimensional cable network,
Mrs. Sullivan always planned to leave everything to her cats. But sometimes plans need a helping paw.
Features the corpse of a deceased elderly woman being lifted up by her many cats, which, unsurprisingly, resembles something from the movie Weekend at Bernie's.
This fall, sparks will fly.
Mrs. Sullivan.
Such loving cats. Jerry finds out he wrote the movie about the deceased elderly woman.
Written and directed by Jerry Smith.
I wrote and directed that? What am I, nuts?
Which is actually a reference to Citizen Kane. He then sees himself as a famous actor replacing Tom Hanks in a blockbuster movie. Cool, right? Well, his excitement quickly dies when he watches another version of himself snorting piles of cocaine with Johnny Depp like a gangster.
You're my best friend, Jerry Smith. I love doing cocaine with you.
He's bald, drugged out, and leading police on a slow-speed chase before begging Beth to take him back. The scene is probably a parody of O.J. Simpson's before his trial. The slow-moving fleet of LAPD Chevrolet Caprice-like police cars, very similar to those used during the real chase of O.J. Beth, on the other hand, doesn't just see herself as a human surgeon.
I'm performing surgery, but not on a horse, on a human.
She sees the life she might have had if not for teenage pregnancy. Summer, however, makes the worst discovery. She finds out that she does not exist in most realities, and in those she exists in,
we're playing Yahtzee.
Yahtzee's fun.
Things are largely unchanged. Such a disappointment. Jerry and Beth then confess to her that she is the product of an unwanted pregnancy.
You thought about getting an abortion?
Everyone thinks about it, obviously. I'm the version of me that didn't do it.
So they just admitted that she's the reason they couldn't chase their dreams. Ouch. That one hurts. Greatly upset by the news, obviously, Summer announces her plans to relocate
to the Southwest and, I don't know, do something with turquoise.
Instead, it ends up being a Breaking Bad meth lab gag. What better way to escape painful reality than to do drugs? I'm just kidding, for the record. While Rick is channel surfing, an alternate universe parody of the HBO hit series Game of Thrones appears, in which the character Tyrion Lannister is a tall person in a world of short people. They just had to throw in the joke. The next episode is, however, no joke. Rick and Morty decide to go supernatural and mess around with the devil. To start with, this episode is largely about deals with the devil gone wrong. Well, I guess we've all had our share of that one. The episode, Something Ricked This Way Comes, cleverly combines the core concept of W.W. Jacobs' classic short story, The Monkey's Paw, which is wishes that spectacularly backfire, with Rick and Morty's trademark blend of sci-fi absurdity and family dysfunction. And just to hammer home the reference, they literally include a monkey's paw.
Mr. Needful, out of everything in this store, you'll never guess what we couldn't get rid of.
Still, the most obvious reference is Needful Things, Stephen King's novel about a shop that sells cursed items to a small town. The episode opens with Summer taking what seems like a normal part-time job at an antique shop called Needful Things. But, this being Rick and Morty,
this store curses people. That's my business.
The shop is run by the actual devil, who refers to himself as Mr. Needful, and specializes in cursed objects with 21st century terms and conditions.
A typewriter that generates best-selling murder mysteries and then makes the murders happen in real life?
Mr. Needful, as he calls himself, has a simple business model.
One never pays here, Not with money.
Nothing to read into there. Thanks!
Don't mention the horrific consequences and profit, both literally and spiritually.
Everything's free, right?
Let's just say you don't pay with money.
The shop's cursed items work exactly like the monkey's paw from the original story, granting wishes while ruining lives. Mr. Goldenfold, who has been struggling since his divorce, gets an aftershave that makes him irresistible to women, but
This aftershave made women want me, but it also made me impotent!
it's like saying, congrats, you've got all the women you will ever need or want, but oh well, your junk has just stopped working.
Oh my god! How could I not see this coming?
Maybe because you were desperate. Don't know if it's a fair bargain, but that's the classic Rick and Morty twist we've all come to love. The solution is always worse than the problem. Other customers get things like a microscope that makes you dumb, which Rick almost falls for, and other junk with terrible hidden costs.
Beauty cream that makes ugly ladies pretty but also makes them blind?
The episode's title, Something Wicked This Way Comes, is a direct rip-off of Ray Bradbury's classic novel, Something Wicked This Way Comes, swapping out the creepy carnival for a cursed antique shop, and that in turn, of course, is a reference to Macbeth, where the witches at the beginning of that play start talking about, by the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. It all comes back to Shakespeare in the end. But back to Bradbury's novel. Instead of Mr. Dark, we get the devil dressed like a Silicon Valley tech bro. Black turtlenecks, smug presentations, and all. It's like we're watching Steve Jobs after a midlife crisis. The devil even does a Steve Jobs-style keynote when launching his online store.
And that's how I took my storefront into the forefront of the upfront. Thank you, Seattle!
Because apparently Satan needs to impress his investors. Rick can't stand that someone else is scamming people better than him, so he opens his own shop across the street to remove curses with science.
Wubba Lubba Dub Dub! Painful things where you can get evil items for free!
Diabolical son of a mother!
And that begins an unexpected rivalry. With skills like that, Rick quickly gets the upper hand and outsmarts the devil, putting him out of business.
No! Oh, you think you're fucking so great?
And of course, they fight like teenage girls. So, Summer comes to the rescue with her genius plan.
We're going to file Chapter 11 and do some restructuring.
She helps the devil rebrand the shop online, this time with the fancy name Needful, but with 3 instead of E's, you know, like very cool in 2010. But he betrays her.
This is my business.
Security!
You're Zuckerberging me?
Keeping the company for himself. Like, seriously, what did you expect? You were dealing with the devil, the father of all lies? Well, Rick quickly becomes bored of the whole charade and burns down the shop. But Summer was hurt, so they both gang up, build up muscle, and publicly beat up the devil in revenge.
Stupid Purge!
Who would have thought that the devil was that soft? Meanwhile, Jerry's causing chaos somewhere else. The plan is to help Morty model a solar system as a science project. But Jerry keeps on insisting that Pluto is a planet.
Pluto was a planet. Some committee of fancy assholes disagree. I disagree back. Give me a ping pong ball.
Okay.
To show how serious he is, he lobbies NASA to reinstate Pluto's status as a planet.
I told you I want to file a declaration that Pluto is a planet.
Plus, since it's Rick and Morty where every absurd reality is possible, they get abducted by Plutonians who mistake Jerry for a scientist.
Plutonians! Jerry Smith is a scientist from Earth!
Turns out Pluto is actually a dying corporate mining colony.
And they love your dad telling everyone Pluto's a planet, because that means they can keep mining until Pluto goes from planet to asteroid to meteor, and finally...
And its leaders are using the Pluto is a planet debate to distract everyone.
Pluto's a planet.
Pluto's a fucking planet, bitch!
Unfortunately, his newfound celebrity status doesn't last because when Jerry finally learns the truth, admits it publicly,
Pluto is not a planet.
He gets immediately exiled. The whole thing has the feel of a Star Trek movie, although there is no direct reference to any of them. But then again, with Rick and Morty, you never know. If they could transform the biblical figure of the devil into a freaking entrepreneur with a neighborhood shop, they could tweak anyone's idea into whatever the hell they want it to be. The post-credits scene shows Rick and Summer using their new muscles to beat up terrible people like neo-Nazis, a member of the Westboro Baptist Church, and an abusive dog owner, while DMX's X-Gon Give It To You plays.
Yeah, bro. Totally worth it.
Fitting choice of song, if you ask me. What's even more fitting is how cramped up the next episode is with references. Well, it is Rick and Morty after all. The episode is largely Rick and Morty's twisted version of Steven Spielberg's 1977 UFO classic, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Except instead of peaceful alien contact, we get the Council of Ricks, a bureaucratic nightmare of infinite selves who've turned the multiverse into their own dysfunctional government.
I'm the Rick, and so were the rest of you before you formed this stupid alliance.
But the Spielberg homage quickly gives way to something darker.
27 Ricks brutally murdered in their own timelines.
When Rick gets framed for murdering 27 alternate Ricks and kidnapping their Mortys. The focus quickly shifts from Close Encounters to a full-blown manhunt.
I've heard enough.
Complete with interdimensional police chases and a Most Wanted Rick poster that's basically a rip-off of the 90s America's Most Wanted. But the references don't stop there. The episode is packed with loads of them. There's the Show Me the Morty line, delivered by a toy Morty.
Check this out. Show me the Morty! Dumb.
Direct parody of Jerry Maguire's famous Show Me the Money line.
Show me the money.
Yeah, it's funny on its own, but it's also a reflection of the episode's running joke. Mortys are currency in the Rick economy. They're traded, imprisoned, and even used as insulation in Evil Rick's lair.
Mortys.
Then there's the brilliant fake-out with Evil Rick. For most of the episode, we think we're watching a standard Frankenstein story, the creation turning against its creator, until we see the big twist.
This Rick was being controlled remotely, puppeteered by somebody else. This is the receiver. Yeah, but where's the transmitter?
Just a puppet being controlled by his Morty the whole time. It's a clever subversion, and that pays off in the post-credits scene where Eye Patch Morty destroys his control device and disappears into a crowd of refugees Mortys, setting up one of the show's most enduring mysteries. It also nods to the 1951 movie The Day the Earth Stood Still, which was inspired by Harry Bates' short story Farewell to the Master, where the robot Gort was revealed to be the true master, secretly in charge all along. We also have the Blink and You'll Miss It Gravity Falls Easter egg, where a cup with a question mark, notepad, and pen falling out of Rick's portal. In the Gravity Falls episode, Society of the Blind Eye, the ending gag shows Grunkle losing these exact same items to his portal.
Every day it's getting stronger.
Seems like the Rick and Morty crew just thought to themselves, why not replicate it? And they did. On a surface level, it's a cute nod to Rick and Morty's co-creator Justin Roiland's friendship with Gravity Falls creator Alex Hirsch, but thematically, it mirrors Morty's shocking realization that he's essentially a disposable camouflage for Rick's genius brainwaves.
I mean, isn't that what Mortys are? Human cloaking devices?
Morty, you're making a bigger deal out of this than it is.
Just as disposable as the coffee cup. Some fans have even speculated that maybe Rick and Morty takes place in the same universe as Gravity Falls. The episode's also packed with smaller gags too. In the episode, Rick was sentenced to the Machine of Unspeakable
Doom, which swaps your conscious and unconscious minds.
The machine's mind-altering effects and name bear a striking resemblance to the weapon from the renowned science fiction author Isaac Asimov's short story, The Weapon Too Dreadful to Use. There's even an O.J. Simpson joke hidden somewhere in the episode. When Rick calls Rick after defeating Evil Rick,
yeah, hello. Hey, what do me and OJ not have in common? Huh? Who is this? I found the real killer, bitch! Get over here!
That is a reference to the trial, of course, of O.J. Simpson. This episode proves Rick and Morty can do more than random adventures. It can craft compelling narratives while still delivering the crude humor and sci-fi chaos. And it does all of this while taking cues from Spielberg, Jerry Maguire, Gravity Falls, and even courtroom drama. Not bad for 22 minutes. All of this, of course, is nothing compared to the mess they made in the next episode, including running over a deranged maid. What do you get when you cross risky business with Titanic, throw in some freaks and geeks drama, and a dash of intergalactic insanity? You get Rixie business, the most gloriously messed up house party in the multiverse.
Put your right foot forward and your left foot back, then fucking slide around like on a Nordic track.
Where the only thing sinking faster than Jerry's dignity,
I have a rare antique coin collection, just don't hurt me,
is the entire Smith household into another dimension. This episode takes the classic Parents Gone Wild premise, and runs it through the Rick and Morty meat grinder until what comes out the other side would make Tom Cruise's iconic carefully choreographed underwear slide look like a documentary. While Cruise's character worried about one damaged Porsche, Rick deals with an entire house teleported to a nightmare dimension.
Oxygen-rich atmosphere, giant testicle monsters. We'll be fine, let's party!
DiCaprio and Kate Winslet had a romantic sinking ship, but Jerry's desperate attempts to recreate Jack and Rose's romantic scene end with a deranged janitor named Lucy getting dragged into a Cape Fear homage so perfect, it hurts.
I'm going to do like from Cape Fear.
It's not just weird, it's Rick and Morty taking iconic movie moments and twisting them into something both familiar and utterly deranged. Summer's Freaks and Geeks parallel adds surprising emotional weight to the chaos.
This is my chance to gain some footing with the cool kids.
That's why you party? Boy, you really are 17.
Her portrayal of Nancy isn't just a regular teen movie stereotype, it's a brutal reminder that even in a universe filled with infinite realities, high school popularity remains one of the most savage survival games out there.
Summer, you're a bad person. All you care about is having popular people like you.
Well, the way Rick mocks her for this while simultaneously throwing his own intergalactic rager, complete with autoerotic asphyxiating squanchies, creates that perfect Rick and Morty hypocrisy we just crave. Speaking of squanchy, Rick has his Mi casa is su casa moment.
Mi casa es a su casa, dog! All right! I like your squanch!
Clearly referencing the Pulp Fiction scene, where Vincent Vega asks Lance if he can shoot up in his house, and he replies, Mi casa is su casa.
Mind if I shoot up here? Hey, mi casa, su casa. Who's just grass?
The single exchange tells everything we need to know about Rick's social circle. Rules don't apply, boundaries don't exist, and any activity, no matter how intimate or disturbing, is just a casual party behavior. When Morty walks in on squanching,
Oh my god! I'm squanching in here!
like a rite of passage in the most messed up fraternity imaginable. This episode also marks the first time we meet Rick's friend,
Bird Person,
who many fans believe is based on a character called Hawk from the film and TV series Buck Rogers. And let's talk about the ending where Rixie Business gave us Joel facing consequences. Rixie Business gives us Rick literally stopping time to avoid cleaning his mess up.
All right, that should do it.
Whoa, what did you do?
See for yourself.
It's the ultimate metaphor for the show's philosophy. Why grow when you can cheat? Why learn when you can snort space drugs and invent a new dance called the Rick Dance? Rick's got some nice moves though. The chaos unfolds with perfect precision. The house gets teleported to a dimension where Morty has to play fetch with alien crystals, while Abradolf Linkler becomes an unlikely hero. Jerry nearly gets assaulted by a Titanic superfan. And that's where we'll call it a wrap for today. Remember, in the Rick and Morty universe, trauma is eternal, growth is optional, and no reference is too sacred to be defiled. Like this video and subscribe for more, so you don't miss out on any of our equally amazing videos. See you all soon.